Do not ever overwork yourself for a woman. Never. You know, when you used to hear stories about my dad, my grandfather, my dad worked over 70 hours a week to provide for my mama and the kids. He worked in a warehouse, then he worked as a taxi driver. He was never home because he was working so much to provide. I just feel like that is a horrible way to live. Life is too short to live like that. If you have to work to death to provide, I feel like you don't need to have kids. You cannot afford to have kids, so don't have them. Don't ever overwork yourself to provide for a woman. Never. It's 2026. These women can work as well. We don't need any freeloaders in our life as men. If you can't find what you're looking for in America, get your passport, travel, and experience. Have some new experiences in your life, especially if you can afford it. Fellas, I'm telling you, if you are single, you have no kids, you have nothing holding you back, you are golden. Just continue to work, stack your money, and travel. Live life. Be thankful that that girl that you were pursuing doesn't want you. She was a red flag. Just focus on you. But never, ever put yourself in a position where you have to overwork yourself for a woman. Why do you think all these husbands die earlier than their wives? They are stressed because they have to provide. Who wants to be working to death for an ungrateful woman? That is not a way to live, fellas. Just focus on you. Don't ever put yourself in that position. I say that because I moved to New York when I was 21. I moved here with $1,200 and a dream. I didn't have a lot of money, but I moved here. I just wanted to take a chance to try to make something of myself. When I moved here, my self-esteem was very low. I was not confident. I was a late bloomer. At 21, I only had sex by that time, I only had sex about 3 times. I lost my virginity at 18. I was a late bloomer. I grew into my looks. But when I moved here, I had low self-esteem. My confidence wasn't there. And because I was so desperate, I was desperate to get into a relationship as well. When I first moved to New York, I wanted to just get into a relationship with anybody because I was so desperate. I was not confident. My self-esteem was that low. So at that time, I was working as a busboy at a restaurant. And I met this woman. She was 30 years old. Your boy slipped up and at 21, she was 30 years old. But she was 30 years old. She was Jamaican and she was broke. At that time, she owed over $200,000 in student loans because she majored in journalism. Her goal was to be the next Oprah, but she was in debt. She couldn't find a job for her journalism degree. So she was working as a bartender. And when you work as a bartender, sometimes you get paid under the table. She was getting paid under the table because they were garnishing her wages. That's how her debt was so bad with the student loans and credit cards. They were garnishing her wages. She lived in a crappy apartment in Washington Heights with rats in her apartment. And I thought that she was a prize because I was so desperate as a man. I had no other options. My confidence was that low. At that time, I was going to the City College of New York. At that time, I was the nice guy. I was a gentleman. I was taking all these women on random dates, being the nice guy, not getting no action. I should have been trying to talk to women my age. I was 21 at the time. But around that age, all the women who were at my college, they were dating older men who had their own apartments, their own car. At that time, I had roommates. I was living in a shitty apartment in Harlem. I was living on 141st and Lenox in the hood. But that's what I could afford. My room at the time, I was renting a room for $600 a month in 2013. I was dead broke. I was living in a crappy apartment. And that was the first apartment I had to experience dealing with bed bugs. It was a crappy apartment, but that's what I could afford when I first moved here to New York. So at that time, I got with this woman. She was my first girlfriend, a 30-year-old Jamaican woman in debt. She wasn't that attractive. Even my mom told me, you can do better. My friends at the time told me, why are you with her? You can do better. She's not attractive. But I was so desperate I couldn't get nobody, so I settled for her because shoot, I wasn't at where I needed to be in life, so I attracted that. But my confidence was so low. I attracted a woman like that, and I had no business being with her. And I overworked myself for her. She was only with me because nobody her age and up wanted her. She never really had a boyfriend. And these are signs I look at now, like I was with a loser, but maybe I was a loser at that time too, because that's what I attracted. I was 21, broke, working as a busboy, not making that much money, but I got with her. And bro, so we got together. The relationship only lasted for 4 months. So when I got with her, bro, she was so tired, exhausted from working as a bartender, but that's the only job she was working because she couldn't find a job for her journalism degree. So she talked me into getting a second job so I can help her pay her rent. And like a fool, I did that. And I was so young and dumb, 21. And this woman took advantage of me because I was so young and dumb. Because nobody her age wanted her. She was a liability. She was no value to anybody in her life. None. And it's funny because she was repeating the same. First, her family did not like me because I'm Black American. They wanted her with the Jamaican person, which it is what it is. I ain't got nothing negative to say about her family because I had no business being with that woman. But she was repeating the same mistakes that her mom did. So her mom went to law school. Her mom was she went to law school to become a lawyer. Her mom was in so much debt to be a lawyer. She's still paying off that debt, even though her mom is in her 60s, right? So her mom did, and her dad was paying for everything. Her dad is a doctor. But her mom did something so bad that she got disbarred as a lawyer. All that school for nothing, all that debt for nothing, and she got disbarred. And now her mom was working at a hospital and her dad was fitting the bill. So I guess she was kind of repeating the same cycle because I was fitting the bill for her. She quit her bartending job because she just wanted to rest. And at that time I was working as a busboy and I got a second job as a waiter to just help her with her bills. I was so weak as a man. I was vulnerable. She even talked me into moving out of my apartment and into hers. And I did that because I was weak as a man. But I learned from that situation. Don't ever have a woman have that much control over you. Don't ever have a woman overwork you. Like I was overworked that time because I was working 2 jobs and I was going to the City College of New York trying to help her pay her bills. That was one of the worst relationships I've ever been in because this woman was so broke because they were garnishing her wages. She was so broke that for my birthday, she couldn't afford to give me anything. So I had to pay for our birthday dinner. She used to have girlfriends, like ghetto chicks who would always be rude to me when they would come over. But my confidence was so low. I wasn't sticking up for myself as I do now. But when you're 21, you really don't know yourself, You really don't know yourself. Her family was disrespectful to me. Her girlfriends were disrespectful to me, and she overworked me. And that was an embarrassing time for me. An embarrassing time for me. And I did not see the signs. I was overworked, just trying to help her out. Trying to help her out. And it's funny because at that time, I think I honestly think that I didn't catch her, but I feel like she cheated on me. I just have that feeling now as I've gotten older. I'm looking back because at the bar we worked at, there was a bar next door to us, and she used to have sex with this bartender guy there. And this dude have you seen him? He was not attractive, and this dude had 5 kids by 3 different women. But she used to hook up with him. And I'm pretty sure they hooked up a couple of times when I would be at work. I never caught her, but I just feel it in my heart that she was probably still banging that dude. She was still probably banging that dude. And I don't know why I was with her, because the sex wasn't that great. And I think I got into that relationship because I thought I thought I wasn't getting no action. So I thought I was going to get consistent sex, and that's not how it was. She was always depressed and crying because of how much debt she owed. And she was just, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed that I went through that. But so I went to go visit my mom. And when I was visiting my mom, she broke up with me. And I'm pretty sure she was sleeping with somebody else. So she was like, when you get back, can you just please move your stuff out? And please. I was, but I learned from that. I learned from that situation. So I came back to, because my mom lives in Atlanta. And I went to visit my mom, and I came back, and I had moved my stuff out. I mean, I found another room to rent. It was a shittier one that I was living at before, but that's what I could afford. After I was helping her pay her rent and doing all that for her. But I'm pretty sure she was cheating on me because it was so stupid. Like right when I moved everything out and I moved into a new apartment, she was calling my phone nonstop, begging me to come back, saying, I love you. But I was so heated, I cussed her out. I was like, don't ever effing call me again. I forgot what I said, but I cursed her out and I hung up. And still throughout the whole week, she was calling me every day from different numbers, emailing me. But I'm pretty sure the guy she was cheating on me with did not want her. So I don't know where she's at in life around that time. So she owed $200,000 in student loans. But at that time, she went to Columbia University to get a master's in journalism. And she had to get extra loans for that as well, even though she didn't pay any of her loans off. So at that time, I told her, I don't think that's a good idea. And her parents told her that it's not a good idea, but she still did it anyway. And she had an attitude with me because I just gave her my opinion. Like, I don't think you should I'm pretty sure she owes over $300,000 right now. But it is what it is. But that experience, don't ever overwork yourself for a woman, because women are ungrateful. And that's what I did. I was working 2 jobs to help this woman pay her debt. But she took advantage of me because I was weak and I was vulnerable and I was young and dumb. She knew that she couldn't get anybody her age or older. And it's funny because I was so dumb and naive at that time. There was a time where I think she went somewhere. She went to work a bartending shift, and she forgot her I went through her computer because I think I was suspicious, right? And her text messages were on there. I can see it. And no, it wasn't her computer. She left her phone. Yeah, she left her phone, and I had to bring it to her job. So I'm going through her messages, bro. Before she got with me, man, I guess she had a guy friend, and she was like, she texted some dude, right? And she was like, can you please give me advice? I'm like, I'm trying to date men who are like high value. She used that term before Kevin Samuels used that term, because this was in 2013. So she was, I'm trying to find a man who's high value, who has his money. She was putting it all out on the text message. She was like, I keep on meeting these guys and they just use me for sex. And I can't keep nobody. Can you give me advice on how I can get a man who has money and who really wants commitment? And keep in mind, this woman was not attractive. Not attractive at all. But reading that, I was so naive because it's like, I didn't even realize this was a low value woman because I was so weak as a man. I wasn't getting that much sex, and this woman was a low value woman. But the relationship only lasted 4 months, and it was one of the worst relationships I've ever been in. And that was my first relationship because I didn't get no action in high school. So I was like, I guess I was kind of like a lame in high school. I didn't get that much action in high school. So yeah, I was dating a 30-year-old woman at 21, and she just used me so she could not work because I was helping her pay her bills. And I'm glad I had to go through that because I wouldn't be the man I am today. That breakup gave me strength, and I just don't tolerate that crap no more. I'm heartless. My heart is cold. I don't trust that. Like, it's so hard to trust women nowadays because dating is, if you think dating was bad in 2013, dating is horrible now. Everything's transactional. You got below average women thinking they're going to get a high value man, and you got women who think that you need to work for their attention, and I don't believe that. I don't think a woman is worth that. Because if you were so special as a woman, why the hell am I going to dump your ass when I see some wrinkles and trade you in for a younger woman? Women are not special. Women have no value as they get older. And at that age, I was just young and dumb. Inexperienced, and I wasn't getting that much sex, but I learned from that. I learned from that experience. I learned not to do that again. I learned not to do that. Fellas, do not ever overwork yourself for a woman. Don't ever be put in a position where you're working multiple jobs to make sure she is comfortable. Her ass can work. Don't get with a woman who owes a lot of debt and student loans and credit cards. Don't do that. She's a liability. She's a freaking loser. I said this again, man. You have more loser women in the dating market than you have loser men. Don't do it. She's a liability. All you need a woman is for sex. That's it. Because these hoes don't even want to spend their money on you. What else do you need them for? I don't care, man. As I'm 33 years old, I don't give a damn about these women, bro. And just learn from my experiences, man. Don't ever overwork yourself for a woman, working multiple jobs to make sure she is okay, because these women are always going to take advantage of you. I told you about my mistake in the past when I was sleeping around with married women. I don't do that anymore, but I told you all the wives went through, their husbands were provider males. I saw the dark side of what marriage is like. And I'm not trying to boast about that. I'm not doing it now, but that's what I did in the past. And all those wives I was sleeping around with, their husbands were provider males paying all the bills. Don't ever overwork yourself for a woman. These women can work as well. I was just very weak as a man at 21 years old. I had no experience. But that experience shaped me into the man that I am today. A woman can't get nothing out of me ever. The most I would take a woman would not. A woman can't get nothing out of me because I don't see any value in them. So, fellas, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Have you ever been in a position where you had to overwork yourself to provide for a woman? And how did that work out for you? Fellas, don't ever forget, we don't pay full price for used cars. Do not invest in post-wall women. Men are the prize, not these women. So let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.